welcome back to Choice Bits of Bliss. My name is Cilla. This month for Themes on the 13th, I am going through my heritage collections. And I chose this Maggie Holmes Heritage paper pad. I have some pieces of cardstock that I bought individually, but I also had this paper pad that I had gotten from Tuesday Morning. And I've pretty much addressed my paper pad situation, and I've torn down the ones that had papers in them that I didn't really like, or I didn't think that I would use all of the multiples. But I have a few left that I kept intact because at the time that I was going through them and tearing them down or recategorizing them, there were a few that stumped me, and I was just, and possibly I just was overtired, but I just wasn't able to make a decision at that time. So I still have a few paper pads left intact, either because I love them so much, I wanted to keep them just as they were, or I just at that time was not ready to make a decision. And that's okay. That's okay. There's always tomorrow, and there's another opportunity to readdress the things that I haven't been able to address. So I'm not stressed out about this, but as I was getting ready for this video and I started flipping through it, there's really some papers in here that I do not like. Plain and simple. And then there's some, like this yellow here. I love it, and I think it needs just to go in my yellow category because I love it. It's a beautiful paper. Anyway, I have this photo. This is my maternal grandmother's family, surviving family members at the time of this photo. So this lovely lady here is my grandmother. These are my grandparents. These are the Benders. My grandmother Bender had 16 children and 14 survived. She lived to be 93 years old. And I'm not positive. I don't think, when I was born in 1972, I don't think Grandpa Bender was alive. I don't think so. So, but I do remember Grandmother Bender. My great grandmother Bender. Anyway, so beautiful people. They were wildly intelligent and had degrees in things that a lot of them had degrees in STEM courses, because that's just not me. That is not where my brain goes. I am not a science, tech, math, engineering person, but I come from people who were. So there you go. That's my family. And we're going to start playing with some papers from this paper pad. And do you want to flip through it? Because this is an older collection. I want to say at least a couple years old, because I bought this in 2020. Came out in 2019 maybe. Okay, so it's about 4 years old. Let's go ahead and flip through it. I'll show you the papers that I've pulled out first, because some of these I'm going to play with. Some of them I really like them and want to keep them. So this sheet, and then these, love that. Thought this would be a good background, so I think this is going to be one of the ones I use for my layout. This one, I really like the collage of this one, and that may go with my layout. This one has great fussy cutting elements for some decorating, and I like that one. I love this yellow. I love that yellow. And I thought these might come in handy to bring in color, because what I'm using so far is a lot of neutrals. And then I have these fussy cutting elements, but I need some bases. And so I thought I might get some bases out of this color scheme. And thought I would cut out some cameras maybe. I like these cut aparts. This one I thought might be a part of my base that I build, and I like these cut aparts. So now let's look through the rest of this paper pad. They are not repeating. So we have this pattern, and we have this. We have these silhouettes. I remember doing this in school. And then we have this. We have this floral that is pretty. I'm not fond of this one. I think it's because they're so spread apart, and it would be difficult. Let's just dwell on this a minute. I think it would be difficult to fussy cut those, and they're spread really far apart. Not fond of these bows. This wood grain is like, it's almost triggering. It reminds me of the paneling that we had like in the 70s and 80s. That, you know, that fake wood paneling, and you can hear my dog walking through. It just made the room so dark, I felt. I like my rooms to be light. I'm not real fond of that one. I like the houses. They're cute. This is doable. The chevron. Not really fond of this one, but it is usable. This is cute. It reminds me of when we were learning penmanship. I like these. This one's okay. And it reminds me of autumn. Not loving this one. This one is doable. This one's doable. I love the grid. I've got these wonky dots. I like the blue. The swans, no. This is doable. I really like this one, the collage, tone on tone. And then we have this one that's doable. We have this. These straps are a no. I really like this. No, not really. This one's okay. I like the script. This is okay. This one's okay. This one's okay. And then we are done, and we are at the end of that paper pad. So that's just a refresher if you don't remember this collection. I'm going to pause, get some things going, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've taken some time to trim the branding strips off of each of my papers, and I've trimmed this one down so that it can be matted on the black and white, and that is going to be my base. Let's go ahead and adhere. Let's just stick things down as we go. That way I don't have to double do anything. I have done a little bit of placement, just a dry run, to see how the base is going to look, because this is going to have a lot of layering. And my original idea that I had for this layout has been nixed. I did something that my friend Jenny at Curly Q Scrapper does. She will look up a collection on Google just to see what other layouts have been put out there, what other images. And I thought, well, I'm going to do that to see what else is out there. And one of the layouts that I saw had a central focal and then just tons of layering behind it. The layering that I really liked about that layout was that they used these fussy cut flowers. And I thought, okay, I'm going to incorporate that. I am going to do layering because my photo is horizontal. Now, if I could have snuck this into here, that would have been, you know, really cool, but that's not going to work. So my photo is horizontal. This is vertical. I need to get rid of that. I wanted to keep this up here at the top. So I had talked about using this paper to bring in color into a very neutral looking background. And this is going to work out really well. I want to cut this down just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. So we're going to go right up to those letters. And I think I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Go right up to the word goldenrod there. And I think that will fit better on the background. There. That looks better. Okay. So we're going to hide that photo placement, and let's just adhere. Now before this one goes down, I have another piece that has to go behind it, and it's this one. And actually I could just cut this in half because I know how I want it to look now. And it's going to be so I don't really want this adhered. I want this to tuck here, and it's going to come through here. So let's get some adhesive on the back of this and the back of this. And I did not cut that straight, so we're going to hide the edge that is not straight. And we're going to tuck that right in here. So this is, we're just starting our layering. And I have this that I want to layer behind here, and I want it to stick out just a little higher. So we're creating that kind of cascading layering effect. And we don't want everything just perfectly aligned. I want there to be some separation. My photo is going to be here, and we're going to put adhesive on it and then start tucking things behind it. Now I can just place, and that the adhesive doesn't just, you know, totally grab, so I'm able to play with my elements. I do believe I had this one here. I still want to see the color, and then we're just going to start placing things behind it and around it. And once again, I don't want everything super linear, because that block is creating quite a, you know, a pretty strong linear design. I feel like I'm missing something. Got my fussy cut elements, and then I'm going to layer up my tags. I should have already punched all of my holes, but I did not. I did not. I love this hole puncher because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes in one hole punch. I dig it completely. This was something that I watched Vicki Boutin use and decided, you know what? If she loves it, I probably will too. And it has turned out to be a great little tool. I've got it from Joann when it was half price. I just refused to pay full price for it. Actually, I got it for myself 2 Christmases ago. And when it came in, I told my husband to put it in my stocking. And he did. And I pretended like I was surprised Christmas morning when I opened it. Because we're goofy that way. I did the same thing this year with my purse. Because I had been carrying the same purse since 2018. And I'm not a purse person. They're functional for me. They're not about, I'm just not into purses. So, but it was time. It was time to get a new purse. It was beginning to look very worn. And so I decided I wanted a Kate Spade purse. And I picked mine out and ordered it. And when it came in, I told my husband to wrap it. He did. I'm trying to remember how I had these placed in my dry run. I think it was this way. I think. I'm not positive. Okay, we're getting there. So I feel like for myself that these tags give me permission to use those as a base to decorate with and to create clusters. This one can come out a little more and these flowers just add this pop of color that I am in love with. So since we're doing that one there, these need to come out a little more. And this one is actually so hidden that it's not effective. So we're going to pull that one out. I like that better already. And let's try this one here. Yes, I think I like that. I don't know why I keep moving my layout around. I don't know why. I may not need to use all of these. think that makes me happier. I do believe I want to put this here. Have the black. I'm talking to myself. Okay, I'm liking this. I am thinking I don't want this over here. I need a journaling spot, and I have 3 clusters, so I need to come back and add a journaling spot here. Let's see what I have. So this was one of the cut aparts in the collection, and I'm just going to add this over here to talk about this photo. And then, okay, when I come back, everything's going to be adhered down, and because you know it drives me crazy when things are moving. So I'll be right back. I changed quite a bit around because when I started looking at placement, the layering is fine, but to make the clusters look cohesive, you know, everything kind of needs to touch. So this cluster actually goes all the way down to here, and then this cluster starts here and circles around. And I think that one does not have adhesive on it. Let's remedy that. Well, that was just sloppy. Okay. So this now, everything touches and it makes, to me, this is purely subjective. It is not anything that that you have to go by. It's just, for me, it makes more sense and looks a little less chaotic, because this is a lot for me. This is a lot of layering. It's kind of busy, and it's just a lot. In my opinion, it's a lot. And I think I'm going to change this one because, yeah, I think I'm going to put that up here. Okay, that makes me a little happier, because then I have 3 bunches of flowers and it's not just all over the place. And there's a little more decisive ending points. Okay, that sounds crazy, but I'm happier with this now that it's turned out this way. That is all for, this is going to go in my little tray to use at a later date. That's all for this month for Themes on the 13th. Come back soon, because we have other things to chat about. Bye-bye.